Yoga is a 3,000-year-old systematic approach to overall health and wellness. In the West, we tend to look at yoga with respect to the exercise factors. We tend to look at it as the movement being primary, but really movement is secondary, and particularly for cancer patients. Very gentle movement, tremendous emphasis on breath work, tremendous emphasis on relaxation and restorative postures in which there's not a lot of movement, but a lot of gentle stretching and relaxation to move the lymphatic system. So yoga has been around for a very, very long time, and for those of us who have now begun to study functional yoga therapy and really looked at physiology and anatomy, there are a number of very specific ways in which we can have a very deep impact on people with cancer at all the levels, and we work at many levels. The psycho-emotional level, the physical level in terms of digestive processes, elimination, the lymphatic system, flexibility, and very important working with people around stress management, which of course is important when you've been told you have cancer. There has been a lot of research about cancer with respect to yoga. The International Association of Yoga Therapists, of which I'm an active member, has done a lot of work specifically, again, in all those areas of the psychology of what it means to be under that kind of stress, to be told that you have a terminal illness. What are the side effects that you may have from treatments? What are the side effects you'll have from a medication? How can we improve your immune system? Because we know now, without a shadow of a doubt, that the immune system can be highly affected by what's going on in our mind. If we're constantly being chased by that saber-toothed tiger, which is, the fear of death when you're a cancer survivor, our stress levels are very high and our hormones are out of balance. So yoga works to bring those stress levels down, and in doing that, we balance hormones better. We create a better environment. For example, when we breathe deeply, we create a more alkaline environment in the body, which then is not as apt to play host to secondary infections from surgeries or medical treatments. And just the whole idea of being afraid of having a terminal illness can change a person's posture so that we become much more guarded, which has physiological implications. Your psoas muscle deep in your belly contracts, your shoulders round, your breathing is compromised, your lymphatic system doesn't move. So we know, along with endorphins being raised through breathing and postures and yoga, that all of these other systems of the body just work better. And when you're under the assault of cancer treatment, whether it's surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, all of these systems of the body don't work to optimum health advantage. And through the practice of yoga and all of the levels that we practice, all these things are affected very positively. You can begin the practice of yoga from the minute that you're diagnosed with cancer, because there are wonderful, and I've worked with inpatients with cancer, there are wonderful guided meditations, visualizations, relaxation that don't just take you someplace else, but really allow the physiological response in the body of tension and stress to calm itself down. And we know that that has a cascade of positive effects. And that doesn't require any movement at all. And once you've had cancer, as scar tissues begin to develop and you're at the right point, people want to regain their range of motion. They want to go back to playing racquetball or whatever it was they were doing. And so very gentle movement and attention and awareness to a part of the body can help with softening and keeping connective tissues moving. We also know that moving the lymph system in certain ways can be very positive and very helpful. So the beauty of yoga is that there really is something for everybody. I think emotionally, people throw around the term new normal, and I've recently talked to a number of my breast cancer friends and students who don't like that term, because we don't feel that we were abnormal just because we had cancer, but you do feel like you're walking down a glass corridor and everybody else is on the other side having their life, and you're over here having this, and you just want to get back. So when you come into a yoga class and everybody's sort of relaxing at the same time, breathing together, you're really very focused on yourself, there's not a sense of competition or judgment, it can feel very safe. You're coming to your mat, and that's sort of a coming home, and what you're really coming home to is sort of coming home to yourself and getting very grounded, and that sense of, I really am fine, I really am normal. I've had a real big bump in the road, but everything is it's going to be as fine as it can be. So on the emotional side, I think that's the safety that we feel with yoga. Also, when we do guided meditations and relaxations, people who are so fearful every minute of the day, when you first are diagnosed, and even for the first several years, you don't go very long without thinking, oh, I've got cancer, I could die. So when you come in to a place where it's all about just relaxing and just being calm, that feels great, and that translates to being safe physically, I think, as well. So when you're out of treatment and you're in the transitional phase, where nobody's watching you, nobody's got you on a daily regimen, yoga really encourages healthy lifestyle in a lot of ways, and relaxation and meditation that are just good for everybody. So it can ease you through that transition stage. And again, with self-awareness, because what we want to do with students in yoga is promote that self-awareness that makes you eager to look for ways to keep yourself healthy. And not that you did anything wrong and that's why you got cancer because you were unhealthy, but most people want to make some lifestyle changes, and yoga is really very supportive of that. And then as you move through the other years of your life, you may move into it more for the exercise at some point, or more for the meditation aspects, or more for the stress reduction. Most of my students say they just feel better after a yoga class because their endorphins are up, they've done something good for themselves, and they're encouraged to eat right, sleep right, etc., etc. So it's a take-along thing. I mean, you can take yoga with you everywhere. You start while you're in cancer treatment, you can do yoga for the rest of your life. I mean, there are many of us who are, well past 50 who are practicing yoga on a daily basis, and people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it's good for everybody.